Was Supreme Leader Snoke more powerful than Emperor Palpatine?
No.
Come on now, Sheev, hear me out on this one. May I continue?
Do it.
Right. Anyway, we still may not know yet the gritty details of just how Snoke wound up as the Supreme Leader of the First Order, but there's just enough fresh info out there to suggest that he is one of the most powerful Force users in the current Star Wars canon, period. Maybe even more powerful than the man who refers to himself as an entire governmental body.
I am the Senate.
Of course, if you ask Snoke himself, he'd definitely tell you that he's on top. Back in December, this interview surfaced on Reddit where Andy Serkis was asked if Snoke was more powerful than Vader or the Senate. His answer? Oh, without question, he has limitless resources, let's put it that way.
I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten.
And knowing how all that ended up, it's safe to say that he could have been wrong. Now, it's true that both men exhibited a vast understanding of the dark side of the Force that helped them achieve their goals, but in the novelization for The Last Jedi, it's explained that Snoke understood the truth of the Force from his time in the unknown regions. Now, this could explain why Snoke was able to connect Kylo and Rey's minds over such an incredible distance. When it comes to combat, there's no contest. Palpatine was way more capable with a lightsaber in his hand. Not many guys can launch into a 920 corkscrew spin from a prone position, and that includes Snoke. Just ask Yoda, one of the greatest swordsmen in the history of the Jedi Order, who had to fight the Senate in the Senate while the Senate threw the Senate at him. Add Palpatine's effortless defeat of the Super Mario Brothers in the Clone Wars, and the evidence is clear. We think he may have been the deadliest lightsaber swordsman in the entire canon.
A surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one.
We obviously don't know if Snoke had ever sparked up a lightsaber before he had one inside of him, but as we saw in The Last Jedi, his mastery of the dark side of the Force was so complete, he didn't even need to cross blades with Rey. Both men trained up their devastating apprentices, Darth Vader and Kylo Ren, so they didn't really have to get their own hands dirty after they rose to power. Palpatine took years to create Vader through face-to-face interactions and manipulation, which is well documented.
Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Snoke, on the other hand, did the same thing, but as far as we know, he may never have even met young Ben Solo before the troubled young lad quit Luke's Jedi Temple in the most spectacular way possible. Snoke's demonstrated ability to manipulate Force connections over vast distances is something that we saw in The Last Jedi, but in the novelization, it's suggested that Snoke may have even used that power to influence Luke Skywalker to take Ben on as his Padawan in the first place, knowing full well the tendency that Skywalkers have for trying to slaughter Padawans. And in the end, Kylo Ren wound up fulfilling the destiny that Vader never could, proving himself to be the superior killing machine and replacing his master as Supreme Leader. And isn't his success, honestly, just a testament to the quality of his training under Snoke? And speaking of killing machines, you gotta admit that Snoke's Starkiller base was more efficient than either of Palpatine's Death Stars. Of course, all three suffered from pretty much the same fatal design flaw, but the numbers don't lie. Snoke's System Killer was a much more effective super weapon. The question of which Dark Lord was more powerful really demands that we look at the ultimate accomplishments that each can claim, which is why we think this one goes to Snoke. Palpatine started a galactic war by leading both sides to conflict and using that chaos as a reason to create an indomitable military and a ruthless totalitarian dictatorship. But Snoke basically did all of that, but without the Clone Wars or the politics. He took the remains of the military apparatus that Palpatine built and made it stronger, and he did it in secret. And then he used it to wipe out the entire New Republic government. Now, he may not have been the most original thinker in the galaxy, but he was definitely efficient. And honestly, it's about working smarter, not harder. When Palpatine died, his empire failed. It instantly fell into chaos and ruin as Imperial survivors scrambled to grab whatever power and military assets that hadn't been scooped up or blown up yet. When Snoke died, his empire kept going, now in the control of his former apprentice. But what do you think? Who was the better emperor, Snoke or the Senate? Will the galaxy be better or worse off now that Kylo Ren's in charge?
Long live the Supreme Leader.
Let's discuss. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tag your favorite master manipulator in the comments, and until the next dark side authoritarian and braggart rises to power and tries to rule with an iron fist, remember to join us at Nerdist.com.